Let's talk about the hashtag pantry challenge that's put on by Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead. Let's discuss what we've had so far this week. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you are with Grammy in the Kitchen. So we're going to talk about the meals we had this week. We did not go to the grocery store this past weekend to get anything we needed for these meals. The husband did pick up a few things he needed for work, but other than that, no cooking in this kitchen was bought from the grocery store. Very happy with that. $0 this week. So the first meal we had was the pizza. I was in the middle of the whole canning session of the beans and the broth. So we did something really simple. Took one of our frozen pizzas out of the freezer and cooked that for dinner. I'll show you that video right now. Today has gotten away from us. It is 5 o'clock. I took a whole chicken out of the freezer last night to cook for dinner tonight. We ran out of time. First batch of beans are done in the canner. I'm waiting for the pressure to natural release so we could get the lid open and get those beans out. I wanted to do the second batch. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen tonight. We're definitely going to be doing those tomorrow morning. But dinner has changed. We're actually going to have pizza. One of our homemade, frozen, ready to heat and eat pizzas. I had asked the husband if that would be okay with him. And he said he was fine with that. So this is one of our pizzas. I have the oven preheating to 400 degrees, and I just used the same parchment paper to bake it on. This is what the husband likes on his pizza. As soon as the oven reaches 400 degrees, we'll throw our pizza in there and we're going to bake it for about 15 minutes. I will keep track of time and let you know how long it took. These are par cooked prior to putting them in the freezer. All we have to do is just thaw, melt this cheese, and just get a nice golden brown around the edges. Pizza is done. Nice golden brown. It did take 20 minutes. And this is a perfect pizza for 2 people. Nice and hot. I'm going to put a little bit of crushed red peppers on mine. Perfect. Cook it in that cast iron skillet. Keeps it perfectly straight. Nice and crunchy on the bottom. So we're just going to sit down and have our dinner. So we're finally getting to that chicken that we took out of the freezer 2 days ago, and we're roasting it. I have the green large Dutch oven in the oven warming up to 375 degrees because I want a hot Dutch oven to cook this chicken. Plus the leftover mashed potatoes from Christmas, I just put them in little balls, put them in the freezer on a sheet pan. Once they got frozen, I put them in a Ziploc bag. So I have 4 pretty good sized balls of frozen potatoes sitting here to thaw. Plus we went ahead and took a pack of cheddar cheese so we can make some macaroni and cheese. And I also have 6 wedges of Parmesan we need to grate also. We got our milk the other day. I still need to separate the heavy cream. I do want to use some of that heavy cream in the macaroni and cheese. And while our Dutch oven is heating up in the oven, we're going to go ahead and make our spice blend. So I got a teaspoon of pepper. I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half a teaspoon of onion powder. We're going to put a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Mix that in really well. Yep, that looks good to me. Here is our chicken. I went ahead and removed all the innards. I do want to pat it dry. And I do want to separate the skin from the breast and try to go all the way down to the legs. Without ripping that skin too much. Trying to be firm and gentle at the same time. Okay. We're going to pour some of this right down in there. Massage it as far as we can get it. And the other side. Your hot Dutch oven. I do want to put a little bit of oil in the bottom. Let's put some seasoning on the breast. Tuck in the wings. And we're cooking this breast side down. Put the rest of the seasoning on the back. I'm gonna wash my hands. Put a lid on. And it's gonna go into a 375-degree oven. We'll check it after 45 minutes and see if it needs to cook more than that. I'm thinking about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. Timer is set. Now I can put the KitchenAid back up on the countertop, but with all the canning stuff we've done the other day, we just don't have room. So we're gonna hand grate at least one of these, maybe not all of them, and start dinner. So these are roughly about 8 ounces a piece. And I'm going to use the small grater. Probably didn't need this big bowl, but I figured the big bowl would be easier to manage the cheese versus a small bowl. And we need to go to the pantry and get the macaroni for the macaroni and cheese. Still need to separate that milk, the heavy cream, from that milk that we picked up this morning. What do you like doing on your days off when you're not working? I absolutely love being in the kitchen. Canning, cooking, meal planning, organizing, anything house related, kitchen related is my favorite. I'm gonna call it quits right there. That is plenty. We won't even need all that. And this one, ooh, I got a lot of cream on this milk. Last time I didn't get so much, but that's okay. Let me know if y'all like this view better. I usually have you on the other side of the stove, but I have the canner with the beans still in there, right there. And I can't move it until it comes down to pressure. So let me know, is this a better view, or would you rather go back to your usual spot? All right, the macaroni is cooked. I got it in the sink, draining. Now we're gonna go ahead and start working on the cream sauce, or the bechamel sauce, to get ready to make the cheese sauce. So a little bit more than a tablespoon of butter. I separated the milk. This is all heavy cream right here. We're going to be using that, as well as milk, plus cheddar cheese and Parmesan cheese. All right, we're going to get this butter melted and fill my salt jar again. Let's get a good pinch of salt and a good pinch of pepper. Add some flour. We're doing a tablespoon of flour to the tablespoon of butter. And we want to cook that flour for about a couple minutes just to get that raw flour taste out of this bechamel, or the roux. A fat and a flour is a roux. What makes a bechamel is we're adding milk and making a cream sauce. About a cup of milk. Let's go ahead and do 2 cups of milk. We're going to let that thicken up a bit. Let's go ahead and add about a half a cup of heavy cream. And I'll put this in the freezer. Heavy cream freezes beautiful. You don't have to worry about expiration dates. Turn the temperature on that cheese sauce down just a bit. Now we're ready to add our cheddar cheese. I'm going to do about a cup and go from there. Eyeballing it, as I always do. We're going to add about a half a cup of grated Parmesan. Once everything melts, we'll taste it for salt and pepper. Adjust the seasoning if we need to, and then add the pasta. Let's add a little bit of salt. And just a pinch of pepper. That looks good. burner off. 10 ounces of macaroni, cooked al dente, drained and rinsed. I'm throwing pasta everywhere. We'll put the lid back on. We'll set this to the back so we can check our chicken. Oh, you can hear it sizzling. Not ready. And we still have 7 minutes left on the initial 45 minutes, but we're not ready. This was 4 little balls of mashed potatoes that I had in the freezer. And that's not going to take too long to heat up, so we're not ready for that. So the chicken has been in the oven for an hour and 10 minutes. I do want to give it a turn, and if it falls apart, then we know it's ready. Oh, look at that. Nice skin. Beautiful. Let's tempt the chicken. All right, the breast is reading 175 degrees. Let's check the leg. I'd rather go into the thigh. And that is reading over 200. It is ready. But I do want to put it back in the oven, breast side up, without the lid, and I'm going to cook it for the remainder of 15 minutes of the hour and a half. Let's go ahead and get our mashed potatoes cooked. I want to heat those up. We're going to add a little bit more butter. Why not? There we go. Perfect. The macaroni and cheese is done. The chicken has 14 minutes left, and we just need to heat this mashed potatoes and melt that butter. Should have done this sooner. But I have 4, they were sub breads or hot dog buns. I can't remember what I made these. In the freezer. I'm gonna cover them with aluminum foil because I don't want them to necessarily bake, but more to thaw and heat up. In the oven on the very, very top. And that chicken is done. Oh, family, look at that. I asked the husband if he wanted gravy. He says, nope, that's okay. Mashed potatoes without gravy will be fine. Let's go ahead and take our chicken out. Look at that, family. Oh, that is so pretty. We're gonna let it sit right here and rest for about 15 minutes. I don't want to tint it because tinting it will soften that skin, and I don't want it any more soggier than what it is. So we're just gonna leave it here for 15 minutes, let the juices redistribute, and that way when we cut into it, they're not gonna all fall out and go everywhere. The mashed potatoes have been heated up, and these were frozen potatoes. They heated up beautiful. And the macaroni and cheese. Waiting on that bread, and then we can have dinner. We're gonna go ahead and cut into the chicken. The rolls are in the oven. I turned the oven off. They're still in there warming up. But in the meantime, we can go ahead and get this chicken carved. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the leg quarter. Comes off so easy when it's done. You can see all those herbs and spices we put in there. Yummy. There's our 2 leg quarters. Let's go ahead and remove the wing. Oh, it's falling off the bone. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. Completely off the bone. Hot. All right, let's go ahead and remove one of these breast meats. Probably should have done this first, but it's okay. It is hot. This is everything we had in the pantry. This meal was not purchased at the store this month. We had the chicken in the freezer. We had macaroni. We had cheese. The mashed potatoes we already had from Christmas. Beautiful. Whew, hot, hot, hot. Let's put some mashed potatoes on our plate. And some macaroni and cheese. Look how thick that is now. Oh, yummy. Let's check on the bread. Oh, nice and warm. 20 minutes, family. And that's what's for dinner. Potatoes, nice and thick and creamy. And just as good as it was on Christmas Day. Freeze your leftovers for a future meal. Macaroni and cheese. It's like heaven. Some roasted chicken. Perfectly seasoned, family. And plus, we have bread. This is the perfect meal. And there'll be plenty leftovers for the next 2 or 3 days. This is great. I love building leftovers in our meals. Whether we eat it the next day or I put it in the freezer, I love it. Absolutely love it. That lasts us dinner, lunch the next day, and then dinner again. The bones, I need to go ahead and put that in the freezer for a future chicken broth. And today we're going to have spaghetti with meat sauce. I finally did get the mozzarella made from the extra milk I had in the refrigerator. Plus I added the ½ gallon that I picked up on Monday. So we got a good amount of mozzarella. And from the whey, I turned into ricotta cheese. So this was 1½ gallons of milk that we turned into fresh mozzarella. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely gorgeous. And then from the leftover whey, we made some ricotta cheese. And I'm actually going to put this in our dinner. If you haven't tried ricotta cheese in pasta, it is so delicious. So you saw the pizza, you saw the roasted chicken. Let's move over to the stove and get started on this spaghetti with meat sauce and homemade ricotta. So last week, when the boys came over, my grandsons, and we made pizzas and cinnamon rolls, they wanted my homemade pizza sauce. So I have a ½ pint of that left over, and it is seasoned for pizza sauce with extra oregano, onion powder, and garlic powder. We're just going to go ahead and add that to another jar of pasta sauce. And since we're going to have extra pasta sauce, I went ahead and weighed out a pound of spaghetti. Now, you know, normally for the husband and I usually do 10 ounces. We're going to go ahead and do a whole pound because we have the extra sauce. Plus, we'll be able to get a meal or two out of that extra pasta. So now we need to go ahead and get started cooking our spaghetti first. A good heaping of salt in our pot of cold water. We're going to bring this to boil, cook our pound of spaghetti to a little bit more than an al dente. Al dente is Italian meaning with a bite. Then we'll strain this and start working on the meat sauce. The pasta is done. I'm going to go ahead and dump that into the strainer in the sink using the same pot. Not even going to rinse it out or anything. Let's add a little bit of olive oil. Use ground meat of your choice. I prefer ground turkey or ground chicken, and that's what we're using. So I took out 1 of our pounds of ground turkey out of the freezer. It's still slightly frozen. That's okay. And we're just going to brown that till it's done. Then we'll add our pasta sauce, both the whole quart of pasta sauce plus the half a quart of the pizza sauce we made when the kids were over here. This is the other half of that French style bread we bought and put into the freezer. So we're just going to use the other half of this to make garlic bread again. I got some butter. Some garlic powder. Give it a good little sprinkle, as much or as little as you like, or leave it off. It doesn't matter. Make it to fit your family and your family's needs. We happen to love garlic. Put it on a baking sheet. We're going to stick this in the oven. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees. We're going to leave it like this for about 5-10 minutes and let the bread get nice and warm and start melting that butter. Then we'll unwrap it, open the bread up, and bake it for another 5 to 10 minutes until it gets a nice crisp crunchiness all around that bread, including the cut side. And that is it for garlic bread. Super simple to prepare and have a delicious garlic bread to go with your Italian dish. Now I do want to go ahead and remove the fat from the meat just so we don't have an oily, greasy spaghetti sauce. So I have a coffee cup right here, and my lid has these little strainer holes right there. So I'm just trying to get as much out as possible, and it really wasn't that much in there, maybe a tablespoon. That's okay. Let's go ahead and add our sauce. This is 1 quart of homemade pasta sauce. I want to make sure we get all that goodness out of here. And this is the half a quart of sauce we had left over when the boys made their pizzas. Just sitting in the refrigerator waiting for us to find an application for it. And we did. No waste in this house, family. I want to get everything warmed up so the flavors can mellow out together. Then we will add the homemade ricotta cheese. If you have store-bought ricotta cheese, that is fine. We had it left over when we made our mozzarella. That's what we're using. Plus some Parmesan cheese we grated the other day. Garlic bread's in the oven, still warming up for that first 5-10 minutes. Our pasta sauce is together. Our spaghetti is cooked. It's coming together perfect. But I need you to do me a favor, family. Do not tell the husband we're using ricotta cheese. He thinks he doesn't like ricotta cheese unless it's in a lasagna, which we no longer do that. We make a bechamel sauce instead of using ricotta cheese. So don't tell him it's in the pasta sauce. We're going to see if he likes it, and then we'll tell him. But I need you to keep my secret. Please keep my secret. Here's the homemade ricotta. Now from a 1.5 gallons of milk, I was able to get 1 pound and 3 ounces of mozzarella plus 10 ounces of ricotta. And I'm just going to put half of that in here. I'm just eyeballing it. Mix that in very well. It's already a beautiful pink color. Oh, yummy. Let's taste it for salt and pepper. Family, that is so good. Now we're going to add the 1 pound of pasta. We will be eating this for several days, which is fine with me. Let's get that stirred in. And we're going to add about a cup of Parmesan cheese. Put the lid on, turn the burner off, let it sit right here while we wait on the bread, and then dinner will be served. This will be plenty for us to have for lunch and dinners for the next 2 to 3 days. Plus this weekend, but by the time you see this video, we will already be home. But we're going to go to North Carolina and visit our son and daughter and the families down there. I'm so excited to see my grandson Joey. Joey, Grammy loves you so much. So we're just waiting on the bread, and then we'll move on and have a nice plate of delicious homemade spaghetti with meat sauce with a little bit of homemade ricotta cheese. Let's go ahead and check on our bread. Oh, nice and warm. We're going to put it in the oven for another 5 to 10 minutes just so that the cut part gets nice and crispy. And in about 5 to 10 more minutes, dinner is ready. So simple. Ingredients we already have in our pantry, ingredients we have in our freezer, ingredients we have in our refrigerator. Super, super simple. Okay, let's go ahead and check on our garlic bread. Oh yes, nice and beautifully golden brown on the top. Gorgeous. Nice and crispy. Oh, beautiful. And the spaghetti. Voila, family. Absolutely beautiful. Homemade pasta sauce, leftover pizza sauce, some homemade ricotta cheese. If you haven't tried it with ricotta cheese, you have to try it. It is so good. It doesn't take a lot. And some Parmesan cheese. Let's go ahead and get us a nice scoop of this deliciousness, as well as some garlic bread. See how good our spaghetti tastes. We know it's good. We make the sauce. We did everything except make the Parmesan cheese and the spaghetti. The pasta is cooked to perfection. And I want you to hear the crunch of this garlic bread. That was so good. Now listen, please keep our secret about the ricotta cheese. Do not let the husband know it's in there. He doesn't mind it in lasagna. He doesn't mind it in other Italian applications. He's never had it with spaghetti. Our secret. Thank you, family. So the grocery store purchase for this week was $0. So proud of us. Everything we made was stuff we had in our house. We had pizza one night. We made that roasted chicken with the mashed potatoes and the macaroni and cheese. We had that in our house. Didn't have to buy anything for that meal. Plus we did have a couple pizzas for lunch this week. The husband will just throw a pizza in the oven, make him a pizza if he needed, or I put one in there for us to share. And then we made spaghetti with meat sauce with the ricotta cheese that we got left over from the way when we made our fresh mozzarella. The bread we already had in our freezer from the last time. And we just made some garlic bread and toasted that up. Everything we made this week was stuff we had in the house. No grocery store purchase this week at all. Let me break down the monthly expenses. The first week we picked up 2 pounds of sausage and a dozen of eggs. When we made the French toast for the freezer and the French toast casserole, and we spent $11.48 the first week. The second week we picked up 2 chuck roasts and 2 chickens that we spatchcocked. We only used one of those roasts, but the cost that week was $28.98. But since we only used one roast, we're only going to count the $7 for that one roast. The third week, we went to the store and picked up stuff to make tacos, in addition to a dozen of eggs, and that bread that we use for that week, plus this week. And we spent $9.39. The fourth week, we spent $0. So the whole month of January, for the meals that we cooked as a family, not counting the items the husband needs for his lunches to go to work, things that we ate as a family for breakfast and dinner, and then lunch on the weekends, we spent a whole total of $27.87. Everything else we had in our pantry. I'm so proud of us. If you don't mind, please give this video a thumbs up. While you're at it, please subscribe. I will love to have you part of the Grammy family. And if you're planning on to learn how to make mozzarella cheese, I'll put a link right there how I made mozzarella cheese. And in the description below, I'll give you the recipe to make homemade mozzarella cheese. I do use a raw milk I get from a local herd share, but this can also be done with store-bought milk. But if you buy milk from the store, whether it's the conventional milk or the organic, more expensive milk, it works fine all across the board. In the description, I'll tell you how to turn the whey from that mozzarella into ricotta cheese. It was so simple. And then what I did is, you can see this bag right here, because I had to wash my milk bag. It's just a muslin bag that I put all the whey with the ricotta cheese in here, and I had it hanging above my sink so that it can drip, get all the whey out, and then I just turn this into that bowl. And from the gallon of milk, I got over a pound of mozzarella plus 10 ounces of ricotta cheese. No waste. And then the leftover whey from the ricotta cheese, I water my garden with it. I do have some carrots over winterizing in some pots, plus we have some garlic out there. I use that whey to water my garden. No waste at all. Right over here you're going to see 2 videos. Go check those out into the next upload. They're either going to inspire you to get into your kitchen or give you a chuckle. And don't forget that 12-month challenge. What are you learning in February? Until next time, y'all have a blessed day. Bye, family.